Citi News.
Live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. Hello, good afternoon to you and welcome to the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. My name is Ni Latte. This afternoon, I'm here with
Eno Safo.
The news is live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. It's also live on our affiliates across the country. All around the world, we are live at citinewsroom.com. And coming up,
it's not for us to speculate what creators will decide eventually. We are just in the middle of the process here, so I think the best thing to do is to let the government and its creditors discuss.
IMF insists of not interfering in government debt restructuring for a board approval for the $3 billion fund support for Ghana after reaching the staff level agreement. Also in this edition, VRA expresses concern over the indiscriminate disposal of solid waste in water bodies as the situation hampers water extraction in parts of the eastern region. Still ahead on the Citi Prime News, one person confirmed dead at Achim Esubwa in the eastern region after fire raised a compound house in the community. Details as officials from the Ghana National Fire Service begin investigations into the inferno. And much later, if you are planning to use poultry product to celebrate Christmas, then be prepared to pay twice the current prices of chicken and eggs due to the rising cost of poultry feed.
Chicken will be very expensive, seriously, as compared to last year. Last year, for instance, I saw birds as low as 70 and 80 Ghana. But currently, we are looking at 150 to 200.
All that and more here on Citi Prime News, which is live across the country on Beach 105.5 FM in Takoradi in the Western region, Bunu region. This is Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyane, Ashanti region. You are listening to us on Focus 94.3 FM in Kumasi and Orange 107.9 FM also in Kumasi. In the Volta region, welcome to Revival 99.3 FM in Tajihu and Cool 103.5 FM in Ho. In the Northern region, this is Radio Bimbela 91.9 FM, Upper East Tanga 93.7 FM in Bolga, and in the Upper West region, Tunson 97.3 FM in Wa.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
The details now. This afternoon, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, insists it will not interfere in government's ongoing debt exchange program. There have been concerns on whether the government will meet its target considering the level of opposition from various groups. The government of Ghana and the fund reached a staff-level agreement days after the debt exchange program was announced. But speaking on the Citi Breakfast Show, IMF Mission Chief to Ghana, Stefan Uday, noted that the fund will concentrate more on its role in realizing the support to the government of Ghana.
I think on the domestic side, you're referring to the domestic debt exchange. It's not for us to speculate what creators will decide eventually. We are just in the middle of the process here, so I think the best thing to do is to let the government and its creditors discuss the offer that have made. On the external side, the details of the authorities' intentions have not been announced yet. But something that I would like to emphasize is that the IMF is very concerned about the overall picture, making sure that the strategy eventually will deliver on debt sustainability. But the details of how this debt restructuring is being implemented, what type of debts are being restructured, relationships with the creditor, whether domestic or external, the parameters of the debt operation, what type of relief the government will be seeking from the different creditors. All of that is really very much for the government to decide. These are all sovereign decisions.
That's the IMF Mission Chief to Ghana, Stefan Uday.
The National Union of Ghana Students is appealing to government and
to bring members of the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana back to the classroom. Teachers at the Colleges of Education have been on strike since mid-November to protest against the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission's unilateral action to vary CTAG's 2021 conditions of service to a later date. In a press statement which was issued by NOCS on Tuesday, December 13, following the suspension of the Public University Workers' Union strike, the group commended the Ministry of Education and the unions for heeding to the calls from students. Speaking in an interview with Citi News, the NOCS president, Dennis Apiala Biampofo, lamented that CTAG's strike is posing a major challenge in all 46 colleges of education.
We can't continue to run 46 colleges of education and for every month teachers of these colleges of education are sitting home and are not teaching. These labor impasse affect students and affect their contact hours with the facilitators or the teachers. This is even more serious in our colleges of education because you are training teachers who must value contact hours. So if at the training of these teachers, the value on contact hours is not in premium mode, then it would affect them when they are out of school and come to deliver on their mandate or in their responsibility. So we are strongly calling on the Ministry of Education. We need to finish what we've started. We need to get our labor unions back to the classroom. And in this situation, the suggestion has been simple when it comes to the ministry. Solve the impasse. That is the suggestion. As to how you manage it, it is a matter of management. And that is something that I don't think that the ministry does not have the technical ability or does not have the know-how on managing it.
That was the NOCS president, Dennis Apiala Biampofo.
Still on the labor front, and the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, the Teachers and Educational Workers Union, TEU, and two other university worker unions have called off their strike after reaching an agreement with government. The teacher unions have been on strike since October over government's failure to present the terms of payment for the vehicle maintenance and off-campus allowances as directed by the National Labour Commission. In a statement, the four unions announced that they were returning to work after agreeing to a roadmap for the payment of all outstanding arrears. Speaking to Citi News, National Chairman for the Senior Staff Association of Universities of Ghana, Isaac Donko, said members of the association must be at post as soon as possible to continue with work.
You reached an agreement with them on Friday, last week Friday. Today is Wednesday, as I'm talking to you now. You were waiting for that commitment on the part of government. That was made last night. Government has written a letter directing the various public universities to effect payment for the 3 months outstanding. That is June, July, August, and September. Those arrears will be paid in December, and government has made commitment. The letter has been written by the Minister of Finance, directing the public universities to pay and controller to pay. So we think that this time around, government is showing good faith. That is why we've been able to call off the strike. We've asked all our members to resume work today.
You're reacting to the debt exchange program. Isaac Donko cautioned the government to exempt pensions of his members from the program.
We know our pensions will be affected, but we are saying no to government. They shouldn't touch our pension contribution. Under no circumstances should government touch our pension contribution. Please, they shouldn't dare. Nobody should dare touching our pension contribution. I repeat, government should not dare touch it.
Isaac Donko is National Chairman for the Senior Staff Association of Universities of Ghana.
The Volta River Authority has identified the indiscriminate disposal of solid debris along the Pong Beach in the eastern region as a major obstacle to assessing water extraction sites and boat navigation on the Volta River. According to the authority, the unsanitary state of the riverbanks at Pong has given room for the proliferation of water weeds, which has negatively affected the quality of water reservoirs. Addressing a gathering during the handing over of 4 skip containers to the Lower Manyakrobo Municipal Assembly to fight the canker, the director in charge of technical services at VRA, Engineer Samuel Lamte, who spoke on behalf of the chief executive of VRA, called on the assembly to provide a task force to ensure compliance.
As part of the authority's contributions to the management of solid waste disposal along the beach. Let me indicate that prior to the location of the bins, evacuations of the mounted refuse located close to the shoreline, purchase of the bins was at a total cost of 160,000 Ghana cedis. We will entreat the Assembly to provide a task force to enforce compliance of the use of the skip bins and subsequent timely haulage to the final dam site. It is our hope that the community will cooperate with the Assembly to ensure that the beans are well maintained and the indiscriminate disposal of waste along the beach will cease.
Engineer Lamte revealed that VRA plans to utilize weed harvesters in 2023 to increase the coverage of weed eradication and ensure that the entire Head Pond area is free of water weeds.
Water weeds have been the biggest obstacle to access to water extraction sites and boat navigation in the Head Pond region. And the unsanitary state of the Pond Beach area is as a result of the careless disposal of solid waste. In order to prevent the proliferation of weeds, particularly water weeds, VRA has collaborated closely with a neighborhood organization called WeedCon. The reservoir's water quality has suffered as a result of the careless disposal of solid debris along the Pond Beach, which has also encouraged the spread of water weeds. VRA plans to utilize weed harvesters in 2023 to increase the coverage of weed eradication and ensure that the entire Head Pond area is free of weeds.
You heard the Director Technical Services at VRA, Engineer Samuel Lamte. The Municipal Chief Executive for Lower Manyakrobo, Simon Tete, appealed to his residents to make good use of the skip bins. He says the law will deal with persons found dumping refuse into the lake.
Realized that for some number of years, some residents have been dumping refuse along the lakeside, which has also been breeding the aquatic weeds. You know, it's almost like a manure to the aquatic weeds. And after doing a lot of consultation and engagement with the community members, and we have to also engage VRA. And today, at least, we've received some skip containers that will be put along the lakeside. And we are hoping that even though we have some there, and this one will be an addition, so that we don't see such refuse dumps again, because we had some originally and we evacuated it. This one we have evacuated it, and I'm appealing to the residents that now that the containers are more, they should make sure they dump into the containers, so that when it's full, the truck will come and pick it to the final disposal site. And I'm also using this opportunity to appeal to investors and other people who have some money to invest in the tourism from the lakeside. We are ready to collaborate or enter into a PPA arrangement with any organization or any entity. Realize that it's mostly having an impact on the aquatic weeds, and that is also affecting the livelihood of the fisher folks. And upon several complaints, when we engage VRA, hopefully from early January, they will bring machines that will harvest the waste in the lake, so that the fisher folks can get the use that they've been getting previously, because now it's affecting the fish that they catch when they go for fishing.
That was the Municipal Chief Executive for Lower Manyakrobo, Simon Tete.
Well, away from that, let's do politics, because the National Democratic Congress, that's the NDC, says security will be intensified at its National Delegates Congress, which will be held this Saturday at the Accra Sports Stadium. According to a member of the National Elections Committee of the party, Daniel Amate, the organizers of the event have had series of engagement with the police ahead of the Congress. This comes on the back of a fight recorded at the party's Women and Youth Conference at the University of Cape Coast last Saturday. In a City News interview, Mr. Amate said only accredited people will get access to the Congress grounds.
The question is that everything is set for the Saturday Congress. I mean, our delegates will be arriving on Friday. They will be moving to the Congress village, Legon, and then we have another village at Tutu. That is where the delegates will stay. Accra Sports Stadium is different from where we had a conference. If you have been at the Kiko's conference now, you realize that it's two different locations. In Accra Sports Stadium, if you have not been properly accredited, you can't enter. And so the security situation is slightly different. We have just had briefing with the Council of Elders and here with the security team. And so I can assure you that we will not have the challenge we had in the Kiko's conference. We are deploying adequate security police officers to be sure that we have a very peaceful Congress. We have had meeting with the police. They have visited the site. They told us that they were there during the MPP conference. And they themselves have learned a lot of lessons from the MPP conference. So they know this one will be better managed than the earlier one.
That's a member of the National Elections Committee of the NDC, Daniel Amati.
The Ghana National Fire Service has begun investigations into the cause of a fire which gutted 3 single rooms in a compound house at Achimesubwa in the Asinemanso Akroso district of the Eastern Region. The fire, which occurred on Wednesday dawn behind the Chief's Palace, razed 3 single rooms and a wooden kitchen structure. The charred body of 73-year-old Yao Donko was found after firefighters managed to extinguish the fire. The Eastern Regional Fire Service Commander, ACFO Jennifer Naya Lekwe, who confirmed the incident to City News, indicated that some other occupants were rescued.
In more news this hour, though members of the Technical University Teachers Association of Ghana at the Sunyani Technical University have called off their strike action, management of the university has rescheduled the start of academic work to January 2023. This has become necessary because students are due for vacation next week. City News' Michael Saponinfum visited the institution and reports.
Members of the Technical University Teachers Association of Ghana at the Sunyani Technical University have called off their strike action. However, the management of the university has rescheduled academic work to January 2023 as student vacation is due next week. The vice chairman of TUTAG at the Sunyani Technical University, Eric Kweku Asari, is calling on government to fulfill its part of the agreement to ensure that there is no other strike action.
As STU, the academic board has met and decided that we are going to reschedule the academic calendar, and that has been done. So as we speak, the students are going to report on the 9th of January to continue the academic year. We want them to go by the agreements that we have signed with them. There has been some memorandum of understanding or memoranda of agreement, as well as some letters that has come from the Ministry of Finance. Yeah, so we expect them to go by those agreements and everything will be okay.
What advice do you have for students? Maybe some may wish to come back on campus. What do you have for them?
They should follow the school's instructions, which is that they should resume on 9th January. Yeah, so when they come, the lecturers are also prepared to take our responsibilities up, and then we'll continue from there.
Some of the students of the institution have also been speaking to the news team.
I would like to thank the TUTAC for accepting the government request that they should call off the strike. But this is something that really affects our academic calendar, and seeing them suspending the strike, we are very, very excited. For me as a student, I'm very excited for them calling off it. But I pray that government will be able to fulfill whatsoever that government promised them that will be given to them. And we are hoping that the government will do that. So to me, I'm really happy that they call off the strike.
Yeah, I'm very excited because it really affects our studies as well. And also our project works, it really affects. Because being a final year student, we expect more from our lectures. And calling off a strike is going to help us because the strike really affected us, especially with the pharmacy students. Yeah, so I'm very excited.
I'm so happy that the lecturers have actually called off the strike. We resumed school on 24th of October, and we've been for lectures just 1 week. And it has really affected us. As we speak today, most of the students have run home, and campus is so empty. Even though they've called it off, but we can't resume any academic work soon. We'll be going for Christmas break on the 20th of this month, which is December. We are going to resume on the 10th of January, and I think that's when lectures will begin. So my appeal to the government is whatever demand our lecturers are appealing to have, he should please grant it for them because it has affected our academic work seriously.
Though members of the Technical University Teachers Association of Ghana at the Sunyani Technical University have called off their strike, management of the university have rescheduled academic work to January 2023. From the Sunyani Technical University, I am Michael Saponufum for City News.
Back here in Accra, my name is Ni Latte here with Eno Safo. This is still the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. Still to come, we take you to Kumasi, where a court has begun prosecution of 7 suspects over their involvement in that clash between students of the Santaman Senior High School and Adventist Senior High School.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Afiwe, Black Stars fans say attempt team selection. Na coaching Ejumanin swear. Hey, now Black Stars beat maybe B. Sakasan so. No negative talk. Positive talking kwa. Mama come Qatar 2022 way. Na Black Stars echi. DSTV the 64 matches ni na be bro with DSTV compact so. For 169 Ghana cedis beji decoder and the year. Ghana, it's our moment.
Now Jordan, are you correct?
Hey, Masa. Yejai.
Fine, anyone can become a house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, anyone. Whether market woman, student, professional, even fisherman or cobbler. YouGoFlip, a real estate gaming platform that allows you to play and stand the chance of winning a house, cash, or other prizes, such as savings towards the house. Simple and easy to play. Visit www.yougoflip.com. Buy a ticket to enter the game. Wait for the end of the game to enjoy the win. Anyone can win. Contact us on 0555222490. YouGoFlip. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Play responsibly, not for persons below 18 years, and gaming can be addictive.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back to the Citi Prime News and thank you for staying. In more news this afternoon, continuous increases in prices of housing, electricity, and other fuels have pushed Ghana's inflation rate to hit 50.3% for the month of November 2022. This was captured in the Consumer Price Index data released by the Ghana Statistical Service on Wednesday. Per the data, food inflation hit 55.3% from October's rate of 43.7%, and non-food inflation also shot up by 7.2% to 46.5% in November 2022. Here is the government statistician, Professor Samuel Kobnai-Nim, highlighting the impact of the main drivers on the increase in the overall inflation rate for November 2022.
On a year-on-year basis, inflation stood at 50.3%, indicating that prices of goods and services between November 2021 and November 2022 went up by 50.3%. Disaggregating this from a food and non-food inflation perspective, food inflation recorded November 2022 inflation 55.3%, non-food inflation 46.5%, indicating an 8.8 percentage point difference between food and non-food inflation for the month of November 2022. From the perspective of locally produced items and imported items continue to record the highest rate of inflation of 55.1%, rising from 43.7% for the month of October 2022, and inflation for locally produced items 48.3%, again indicating an increase from 39.1% for the month of October 2022. Between domestic inflation and inflation of imported items, the differential was 6.8 percentage points for the month of November 2022.
Well, on a regional level, Eastern Region recorded the highest inflation rate of 63.3%. This was followed by the Greater Accra Region with an inflation rate of 61.6%. Here is Professor Samuel Kobnai-Nim again.
From a regional perspective, we identified Eastern Region recording the highest rate of inflation of 63.3% and the Volta Region recording the least inflation of 34.5%. On a month-on-month basis, between October 2022 and November 2022, prices of goods and services went up by 8.6%, having recorded a 2.7% rate of inflation for the month of October 2022. Disaggregating this from a food and non-food perspective, on a month-on-month basis, food inflation stood at 10.4% relative to 8.6% for overall, and non-food inflation 7.2%.
That was the government statistician, Professor Samuel Kobna Enim. So the news is that inflation for the month of November 2022 has hit 50.3%. This is attributed to the continuous increases in prices of housing, electricity, and other fuels in the country. Well, on a regional level, Eastern Region recorded the highest inflation rate of 63.3%, which was followed by the Greater Accra region with an inflation rate of 61.6%. Eno has more stories.
Consumers of poultry and its related products may have to revise their budgets this festive season as producers anticipate an increase in the prices of the products. This is as a result of the high cost of feed, which has doubled the prices of chicken and eggs. City News' Anne Shirley Zewu visited some markets and has more in this report.
One of the most common and preferred proteins consumed during the Christmas season is chicken, but it seems consumers will have to pay more for it if they wish to enjoy it this season. This, the Poultry Farmers Association of Ghana attributes to the increase in the price of poultry feed. According to the association, the importation of the feed coupled with the cedi depreciation has resulted in the current situation.
Because of our main ingredient that we use for production every single day is on the rise, and it's really affecting our cost of production. So in order also for the association to be able to survive, we need to at least adjust our feed prices a little bit. And in doing that, it also affects our farmers. So a feed price that was being bought, let's say at 119 some time ago, it's over 290. That's the least even in the market. And it's not only about the feed cost. You have other related expenses that you have to incur as a farmer. And that is the reason why a lot of the farmers are fighting hard, because the feed prices every blessed day is going up. And it's as a result of the rise in the raw material that we use for feed production.
They also revealed that some farmers were selling off their birds due to the high cost of poultry feed. I visited a poultry farm to ascertain the situation. At the Lakai farm here in Accra, most of the cages were empty. According to the manager, this could cause a scarcity of chicken during the Christmas season.
Because of the cost of feed, most of the farmers have closed down, and then because they can't feed their birds. And believe me, if the birds are in the cages and they are hungry, shouting, they don't have money to buy feed for them. It's a problem. So most of them have sold their birds, and currently only few are in business. They are there, and even those who are in business, they've even reduced their number. If you can see, my place is empty. Only few ones that I have now. Just praying that next year, if things stabilize more, we can increase their production.
He also indicated that the high cost of feed has also caused the price of poultry products to go up astronomically.
Chicken is very expensive, seriously, as compared to last year. Last year, for instance, I saw birds as low as 70 and 80 Ghana. But currently now, we are looking at 150 to 200. That also depends on the weight of the bird, the broiler especially, depending on the weight. But when we talk about the old layers, for instance, some go as maybe 90 or 80 cedis. Yeah, into 80 cedis. Like this go for 70 Ghana from the farm.
Last year, how much was it?
Last year, it's around 35. Yeah, it's around 35, 30, 35.
It's likely to go up closer to Christmas?
Christmas, like I said, with the farm, when you're coming to buy on the farm, this is the farm price. You go for 70. Yeah, but some people also sell, the retailers sell, they also add their margins to it. So at the end of the day, you get around 80 or 90. Yeah.
At the Mala market in Accra, some sellers of eggs and chicken bemoaned the situation, calling on the government to intervene.
When the amount that we are paying 200, today when they are taking the same amount, assuming 6,000 to pay for 2,200 base, the 6,000 is taking about 100 base or 120 base. No base in the system.
especially this Côte d'Ivoire, Togo, who are taking best from other countries like Togo, example Togo. But today they are rather coming in to Ghana for best. Last year we were selling 40, 35, 35, 30, 35, but this year 60 cities.
The poultry farmers who preferred some solutions also indicated that if measures are not taken to salvage the situation, the poultry industry could face an imminent collapse.
I think governments have to step in and ensure that we produce more of corn and the soybean, and then they need to stay here because our neighboring countries come for these items. They come for it and then they go and store it and they come and sell it to us at a high price. So I believe if government, we have a lot of silos that government can take advantage of by storing this here. I think first of all, government also need to know the amount that we consume in a month, so that it can also budget for it. That okay, at the end of the day, every 6 months or in a year, this is the quantum of maize or volume of maize that we consume, or even the poultry industry. You need to have data for them to know, so that we can make sure that we store a lot of corn to feed our birds. If not, this is the situation that we find ourselves, and it's really, really crazy.
Another raw material that the government can also come in to assist the farmers is the acquisition of soybean meal, because the one we are using now is being imported, and the prices are way above 500 per the 50 kg. So if it is something that the government can put in measures where we can produce them locally and also process them locally, the price will be cheaper than you buying it from the imported ones.
Stakeholders in the poultry farming sector are calling on government to come to their aid to get cheaper feeds to feed their birds, as they envisage a Christmas where Ghanaians would have to pay more for the chicken they buy to cook their delicious foods, or they will not get any at all. Reporting for Citi News, my name is Ansheli Zibu.
Well, Eno, do you have plans of using poultry to celebrate the Christmas?
Of course, it's a delicacy that you can't avoid.
There's no Christmas without chicken or
I'm
eggs.
telling you.
But you're going to pay twice
Jollof
the amount.
and chicken. What can we do? It's
bear
the
with
situation
it.
we find ourselves in.
Well, let's see how that goes. But away from that, the Ministry of Local Government has been urged to ensure metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies across the country allocate budgets for the removal of people living with mental challenges from the street. The executive director of a non-governmental organization, Mind Freedom Ghana, Dan Taylor, made the appeal in Bechem in the Ahafo region during the launch of the Community Support Network on Mental Health to train caregivers of mentally challenged persons and stakeholders who have a role to play when it comes to mental health issues. Citi News' Michael Saponifum reports.
It is estimated that about 20,000 mentally ill persons roam the streets of Ghana. Care for persons with mental challenges is still a challenge for most families across the country, as caregivers lack the requisite training to handle people living with mental challenges. This has led to people living with mild mental challenges hitting the streets and their cases becoming worse. In line with this challenge, Mind Freedom Ghana, an NGO, has launched the Community Support Network on Mental Health at Bechem in the Ahafo region, aimed at training caregivers of people living with mental challenges, health personnel, and stakeholders who have a role to play when it comes to the handling of mental health cases. The Executive Director of Mind Freedom Ghana, Dan Taylor, is calling on the Ministry of Local Government to ensure metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies allocate a budget for clearing off the street people with mental challenges and their subsequent treatment.
Yes, the Mental Health Law 2012, Act 846, has a section that enjoins all the MMDs to make budgetary allocations on a yearly basis, so that persons with mental health conditions, those are the worst cases that you see on the streets, they are taken for treatment. The mental health authority would liaise with the police and the social welfare, and they'll take these persons for treatment at the hospitals, and then they are rehabilitated. They are taken back to their communities, but the MMDs are not doing this. You recall there was a case in Accra at Circle that a woman threw a stone at someone and the person died. Yes, that issue came up. And then once a number of radio stations who called my attention, look, use your media to tell a local government that they must get their MMDAs to make these budgetary allocations. Because MHA has engaged local government ministry to let the assemblies make these provisions, but they are not. They are not. So, and MHA doesn't have those resources. So once the resources are there, the budgetary allocations are made, and persons with mental health conditions, they are seen on the streets, MHA will liaise with the police, social welfare, and then they take them for treatment.
Mr. Taylor also gave an insight into the activities of Community Support Network on mental health.
I mean, the main objective is that these are organizations or groups that we're establishing to be able to, for persons with mental health conditions, to assess support in terms of medication, in terms of other services within their jurisdiction. Many a time, people with mental health conditions are not considered as part of society in terms of what should be given to them, as in case of persons with persons without any mental health conditions. So the issue of social exclusion and discrimination is what is the major factor we are looking at. So that once the group is there, they are able to advocate, they are able to reach out for whatever is due them. That is what we are looking at, getting these groups to operate on those lines.
Members of the Community Support Network on Mental Health in Bichim have been speaking to City News on how the organization is going to help.
Most people believe mental illness is caused by spiritual, is somehow associated with spirituality. So most of them normally neglect their clients, even to the extent that sometimes you go to their houses trying to help these clients on the streets, and sometimes they don't even want to give you the opportunity to help these clients out. Meanwhile, you have the role to do what? To do that. I think it's a nice initiative, and it's going to help a lot in the long run, because here is a situation where we are incorporating stakeholders and other bodies, relatives and patients in their treatment and in their care. And through this, I think it will help solve the previous situations which I mentioned earlier. Yeah, I think it is going to be of a benefit to us.
This program, I know, is going a long way to help us, because such people with the mental health, their keeping is somehow difficult. So if it is left to a few people or limited to the family alone, it becomes a burden. Now that this group has been inaugurated, I think more hands are going to be given to those people as well as the family, so that they can alleviate that problem, so the people will also get free from their problems.
The metropolitan municipal and district assemblies across the country are being urged to collaborate with stakeholders to ensure that people with mental challenges are clear off the streets across the country. From Bichim, I am Michael Saponinfum for City News.
Now, despite government's promise to improve science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education across all levels of education, many public basic schools continue to face serious challenges that hinder the promotion of top-notch teaching and learning. This appears to be worse in rural areas. The Jobbing Municipal Education Directorate in the Ashanti region has called on the government to adequately resource schools in deprived communities to help improve education in those areas. Our Ashanti regional correspondent Fatia Aminu Ibrahim reports.
From numerous challenges associated with educational infrastructure to inadequate laboratory tools and learning materials, the list is endless whenever the issue of challenges facing Ghana's educational sector is raised. These factors have for years adversely affected Ghana's educational sector. In recent times, the Ministry of Education has been assuring of its commitment towards improving science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM education in schools across the country. In order for government to realize this dream of improving STEM education, the Jobbing Municipal Education Director, Engineer Charles Edukumi, is appealing to governments to invest in schools within rural areas.
These children have potentials that are hidden. It is up to teachers and educators to unearth these potentials so that we groom it to become talent for these children. But our schools lack basic resources that we can put together in order to come out with workable artifacts as we have all seen just this morning. So my appeal to government is to turn attention to basic education. They have done a lot with the free SHS at the second circuit level. But at the basic level, all of us are witnesses to what we have seen this morning. So if resources are also channeled to produce these artifacts that the children have done, it will go a long way to help these children so that when they go to the senior high schools, it will be very much easier, even at the tertiary level. Schools in the rural communities don't have much of recognition. So if resources are channeled, it will help.
Notwithstanding the challenges, many public schools in the Ashanti region have welcomed the initiative of prioritizing STEM education and have begun tasking pupils to build relevant schools in the area. The Jabin Municipal Education Directorate, for instance, has begun challenging pupils to come up with innovative scientific ideas in order to build their interest in STEM. Speaking on the sidelines of a career fair on STEM organized by SOS Children's Village in partnership with Jabin Municipal Education Directorate, Engineer Charles Edukumi stated that the initiative will boost the critical thinking skills of pupils.
So many people in the community do not buy into the idea because they feel that when somebody goes to vocational or technical school, that means the person is not brilliant. It is those who do not excel that go to that sector of our education. So with this public display of what these children have done, it is likely to change the mentality of parents and people in the community so that they will buy into the idea of sending their children to vocational technical schools, therefore making the STEM a success.
The program's director for SOS Children's Villages, Kumasi, noted that the initiative will also help improve employment in the country.
You know, most people like to do these, what we call white-collar jobs. But it's very important that we have people with knowledge in sciences and technology to be able to help us solve our problems. I mean, work is all about solving problems. If you are solving a problem, then you will get somebody to employ you. So it's all geared towards reducing unemployment in the future and helping these children to have a better life in future, especially the ones who are on the verge of losing parental care or those who have lost parental care because of one reason or another. So it is not surprising that we have come to Jabin because it is one of the municipalities that we work in. It's a very good project, we believe. It's a project that will ginger the spirit of learning these sciences in the children.
Some students who participated in the career fair exhibition were excited about the initiative. Edem Amemaso is a pupil of New Koforidua Presby JHS.
I am happy to be here with my colleagues, and this one is so excited to me that I am part of this. It will help me in future when I do not have any job to do. It can help me to bring something developing to me, such as my youngest in the US, something they bring something to this Ghana. I can bring mine to them and give it to them. It is good for me to do.
That report on STEM education in Jabin was filed by Citi News' Ashanti regional correspondent Fatih Aminu Ibrahim.
Well, we stay in the Ashanti region because of the clash between students of the Asanteman Senior High School and Adventist Senior High School that occurred over the weekend. Our Ashanti regional correspondent is Fatih Aminu Ibrahim. She joins us on the phone lines with more updates. Well, Fatih, days after that particular clash, what more do we know now?
So far, we understand that the police, they've picked up some of the guys who are alleged to be involved in the clash that happened on Sunday. We are currently in court, but they're yet to bring the suspect here for the case to be called. But what happened on Sunday, according to some of the eyewitnesses we spoke to, was that some students of the Asanteman Senior High School and Adventist Senior High School were involved in a clash. And according to some of the eyewitnesses we spoke to, it was because one of the students of Asanteman Senior High School was assaulted or was attacked by one of the students of Adventist when he closed from school and was going home. So because of what happened, the students then went back and they informed his colleagues who went back to the place to attack the other students as well. And in the course of that, one person actually got injured. A guy, a 19-year-old who was supposed to be watching over his mother's shop, got hit with a stone by one of the guys, and he ended up collapsing and was rushed to the Conformity Teaching Hospital, where he's currently battling for his life. And so far, that is what we have, and we are still in court waiting for the prosecutor to appear here for the case to be called.
Well, so the latest is that the police have been able to pick up some suspects. Are you able to tell us the number of suspects and what their identities are?
So far, no, we don't have the numbers, but we understand that a number of them, yes, have been arrested and will be arraigned in court this afternoon.
So court proceedings have not begun because we are waiting the prosecution for the court to begin sitting. Is that right?
It's actually so. The prosecutor is yet to arrive in court.
Let's talk about the 19-year-old teenager who was injured as a result of the clash between the two schools. Do you know his current state?
He's still at the Conformity Teaching Hospital receiving treatment. And when we spoke to the mother of the injured gentleman, she made us aware that, in fact, together with the father, they are worried because they are not really in a position to afford the medical bills here and there. And so they are really struggling. And their worry is that no one from the school so far, neither from Asanteman or Adventist, has visited them, apart from the police who were there to speak to her and then to visit the gentleman who has been injured. But for the school, no one from either Asanteman or Adventist has visited them to at least find out how far or how her son is doing. And so she wants the police to ensure that the perpetrators of that are prosecuted.
But your interaction with the family, aside from the fact that they want a speedy investigation into the incident, have they been making specific demands as far as the health of their relative is concerned?
Yes, she wants the police and then the schools involved to take care of the medical bills, because according to her, they are not really their financial situation is not that strong for them to take care of the kids, because they have a lot to take care of at the moment and they don't have that financial muscle to do so.
And has police been explaining to you what they have been able to gather as far as the case is also concerned? Do we know their preliminary investigation?
Not yet. We are just waiting to get some of those information in court when they call the case.
Very well. That's Fatia Aminu Ibrahim, City News' Ashanti regional correspondent. This is still the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM, live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. Also live across the country on our partner stations all around the world. We are live at citynewsroom.com. My name is Ni Latte here with Eno Safo. Still to come, defending champions France faces Morocco in the last semi-final encounter in the ongoing World Cup in Qatar. We have more after this. Please do stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Ultimate Charismatic Center presents Back to Sender Convention. Date 19th to 25th December. Venue Ohima Plaza, East Legon, Accra. Time is 6 p.m. Host Prophet Akwesi Ajimai Prempe. And don't miss out on the crossover service on 31st December 2022. Time is 9 p.m. For more information, call +233 20705 3165 or visit the website prophetprempe.org. Ultimate Charismatic Center, the center of prophecy and arena of manifestation.
OneXBet. Easy betting, easy winnings. OneXBet, the most reliable service to make deposits easily with high odds and numerous bonuses on the spot. Register now at onexbet.com.gh. Use promo code BESTODDSGH to get 300% bonus up to 3,445 Ghana cedis on your first deposit. Easy to use, easy to have a chance to win. OneXBet, reliable bookmaker. Gambling can be addictive. Bet responsibly. Not for person under 18 years. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back to the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. Well, tonight, Morocco will aim to continue their fairy tale at the World Cup at 7 p.m. The Atlas Lions face world champions France in the second semi-final of the tournament. The winner will play Lionel Messi's Argentina in the final on Sunday. City Sports Evans Ofochu Manso is here to get into the World Cup. Yesterday, you predicted correctly that Argentina will win that particular game. It happened. I lost. Let me put it that way. Croatia didn't make it. So tonight, we have Morocco facing world champions, that France, and then the winner will meet Argentina on Sunday. Let's first reflect on how Argentina qualified for the final yesterday. 3-0 it was.
Yes, it was a very expected performance from the Argentines, led by their maestro, their talisman, Lionel Messi. He had a very magnificent game, and he won the man of the match, no doubt about this. And it started on a very good note for the Argentines there, who had Lionel Messi taking a penalty lead for them. It was a very good penalty, top corner. Goalkeeper Livakovic had no chance in that penalty incident there. So eventually, Argentina had that 1-0 lead. And then their striker, Julian Alvarez, he has been a sensation in this tournament. They're coming on to replace or being picked ahead of Lautaro Martinez. He scored 2 goals yesterday for the Argentines there. So it was something we expected. You remember me telling you that the Argentines were strong favourites because ahead of this game, they had been to 5 semi-finals at the World Cup, and they hardly, or they've never lost a semi-final at the World Cup. And that record continued yesterday for the Argentina team. And also, it will be the last official World Cup match for Lionel Messi on Sunday. And he made sure...
The original GOAT.
Exactly. Now, I think that what many out there are looking for is that he gets to wrap this up so that debate will be over. But yesterday,
a lot of people want him to win.
His fans want him to win. Not everybody. His fans want him to win so that they can settle that. Absolutely, that they can settle that debate ongoing between himself and Cristiano Ronaldo. But it was a very good performance from Argentina. Teamwork. They showed that. And for Croatia, it wasn't the best of opposition from them. Yeah. Look at the fact that they defeated Brazil and we were expecting them to be strong at the semi-final stage, but they gave Argentina quite a free ride, and it wasn't that spectacle of a game that we expected. But Argentina deserving team to make it to the grand finale.
Well, let's zoom into tonight's encounter. Morocco versus France. France being the defending champions. Morocco also being the only African side in that particular World Cup, having been to the semi-finals for the first time as an African team. And so what's the team news ahead of that game?
Well, what we understand at the moment is that for the French team, they have their centre-back, Dayot Upamecano. He has a sore throat, and the midfielder, Adrien Rabiot, they are quite doubtful though. They are not ruled out, but doubtful for the game tonight. But they were both able to complete light training yesterday. We'll see the final 11 that will be put out by their head coach, Didier Deschamps. For Morocco, they will be without their striker, Walid Chedira. He had a red card in that game against Portugal, if you remember. So he's out of that encounter. But there's good news for them because Nayef Aged, he missed that game against Portugal with a thigh injury. He's set to return. And also Romain Sainz, he also didn't finish the game against Portugal. He had some sort of thigh issues as well, but he's also likely to return for the Atlas Lions. And they have their left back, that's Noussair Mazraoui, who was also unavailable in the last game due to injury and hip problem, coming back again. He could be selected by the coach if he's all cleared by the medical team of the team. So that's the team news for Morocco. And for the French also, quite some 1 or 2 incidents. But we're looking at everybody starting for them. There's Olivier Giroud for the French team, Kylian Mbappé, all in contention to start for the French national team.
But will you say that there is pressure on the Moroccan side?
Well, where they've got into, I can say they want more. But whatever happens tonight, Morocco should be satisfied with their performance. Yes, they should be satisfied.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're the first African team to reach a
But they came to the World Cup to win. So if they've made it to
everybody
the semi-final,
came to win.
they shouldn't be
Even the
satisfied
Black
if they
Stars
lose.
had a plan to win, so we're all there to
Why
win.
you weren't optimistic about the Black Stars coaches?
But I still
Even the
wanted
coach
to,
wasn't optimistic about the team.
But I feel that getting this will be in their record books forever, the first African team. So whether they get to the final, it's a bonus for them to get to the final. If they don't get to the grand finale, what they've got into, I think they will all be like, Alhamdulillah. They thank God for how far their journey to the World Cup has been.
But what about the French team? They want to defend. I hear that it's only Brazil that has been able to defend the title back to back. Isn't it something?
It's very difficult to defend the World Cup because of the 4-year span and not getting your best players to be consistent always. And for the French, they were looking to do what Brazil did some years ago, though. But it won't be easy for them. They have to first go past this Moroccan team tonight and then look ahead to the last dance for Lionel Messi. They could be the team to ruin that dream for Messi. And then in order to get to their third world trophy and also back-to-back World Cup
is there
titles.
any head-to-head as far as Morocco and France is concerned, or this is going to be the first time they are meeting at the World Cup?
For the World Cup, this is actually their first major meeting. Yeah, first major meeting. But for Morocco, this will be their 25th nation to play the semi-final and the first from Africa. For the French, also quite a very interesting record there. They have been eliminated from 3 semi-finals. That's in 1958, 82, and 86. But they won the next 3 from 98, 2006, and then 2018. So they are used to winning the semi-finals now. So that's kind of some record heading into the game tonight.
Morocco versus France, your prediction?
Well, I think that the Moroccans have a very simple game plan. They try to defend deep and then hit teams on a counter-attack.
And it's worked for them.
It's worked for them
against
against Croatia. They've done that against Belgium. It worked against Japan. They had to ride on that record again in their last game, as I said earlier. But every good thing has an end.
And is that the team that has not conceded in the World Cup?
They've conceded just 1 goal, and that's even an own goal. So it's tells you how defensive they are. But I think that every good thing comes to an end. And meeting the French team have enough firepower.
How do you want to see Morocco end their World Cup?
See, we are hoping that Morocco will go far, but they are facing a very superior team. Kylian Mbappe knows how to score. He has 5 goals already in this 2 World Cup. Olivier Giroud, the French striker, also knows how to get the balls at the back of the net. He has 4 goals. I just think that the French will find a way past this Moroccan team. It's just one of those things where your level has a limit, and that's where the Moroccans will fall short. Yes, they've been able to do that against good teams at the World Cup, but I feel that they will be meeting a team that will know how to unlock them, a team that can create nothing out of something. Mbappe, Giroud, Dembele will be tormentors of this Moroccan defense for 90 minutes, and I think they will just nick it past the Moroccan team. Morocco looking for a 3rd place finish against Croatia should be the reality.
Before you go, what's the scoreline?
I think I'll go for a 2-0 win for France.
Yesterday you said 2-0. Yesterday you said it.
Yes.
Today I also say 2-0.
2-0 win for France.
What about you?
Morocco won't even score 1.
No.
It doesn't even want Morocco to go to the grand final.
It's because of the opposition they're facing. The opposition they're facing.
France is a formidable
This World Cup
team.
is an African World Cup. We are winning. Morocco. So see us.
Yesterday you predicted you got it wrong. So
forget about that. But thank you so much, Evans Ofochu-Manso from the City Sports Desk. Kickoff time is 7 p.m. He will be back at 2 p.m. with the World Cup Daily here on 97.3 Citi FM. Thank you so much, Evans. But before we go, President Akufo-Addo is urging African leaders to stop begging for arms from the Western world. The president contends that Africa is not accorded the needed respect due to its penchant for begging for funds from the West. He spoke at the opening of the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit in Washington, D.C.
If we stop being beggars and spend Africa's monies inside the continent, Africa would not need to ask for respect from anyone. We will get the respect we deserve. Over 30 years ago, one of America's most prestigious Ivy League universities offered a course in Mandarin, which for years had virtually no takers. Today, there is standing room only. And it is not because the course is any easier. It is because the position of China has changed. 30 years ago, 20 years ago, China was nowhere near where it is today. China does not ask for anyone for respect now. She does not need it. Let us make our continent the prosperous and joyful place it should be.
That's President Akufo-Addo ending today's edition of Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studios at number 11. Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. There is more news on our website, citynewsroom.com. My name is Ni Latte. This afternoon, I was here with
Eno Safo.
Anita Kisimriku is next with the afternoon's edition of the City Business News. Have a good afternoon.
City 97.3.